September 28th, 2020 meeting of the South Bend Common Council to order. Clerk Jones, I believe you would like to make some comments regarding the link of the meeting and also meeting expectations.
Yes. Good evening, members of the public. For audio quality, we will be muting everyone not speaking by default to maintain good audio quality for council and yourselves. If you would like to speak during the meeting on a specific agenda item, please submit your request in the chat. Directions to do so are also in the chat. We ask that you provide your full name and address, as those are required for all speakers at in-person meetings. If you would like to be called on during the meeting to provide public input, please insert the following into the chat and you will be called on during the relevant time for public input. In the chat, put "my name is" and you live in your address, and that you would like to speak for or against the agenda item. You will then be given 3 minutes to speak. Please be sure to unmute yourself prior to giving your remarks. I also would like to add that in the top bar where it says more actions, if you do turn on live captions, you will see the conversation in writing. It's for closed captions. So if you're hearing impaired, if someone is hearing impaired, please advise them to do so. And we will be doing so with the recording, so they'll be able to see it. Thank you.
Thank you. Due to the executive order of Indiana Governor Holcomb, the South Bend Common Council meeting will be legally held by way of virtual meeting by using Microsoft Teams applications. At this time, we'll go to invocation. Council member, 1st District Representative Kenneth Lee will give us lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, President White, and all of the members of the Common Council, and all of our guests and citizens of South Bend. Let's bow our heads. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come to do the work of the city, to help serve our community in a greater capacity. We ask, God, that our decisions would not just be based on our own opinions, but on the opinions of those things that are best for our community. Help our city to work together as a unit, from the mayor's office to the Common Council to the citizens of our city. Help us to be what you want us to be, and to help us also to allow our decisions to have positive effects on our community. We ask that you will look on every department. We ask, God, that you would strengthen all of us. We ask that you would look at on our nation. We pray, God, that you would bring us together, for your word said, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, you would forgive them of their sins and heal the land. We pray for our city. We pray that you would heal our land and help us to do what's best and in the best interest of all of the citizens of South Bend. All of these things we ask. Amen.
Thank you. Clerk Jones, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Lee.
Present.
Councilmember Davis. Councilmember Davis. I'll come back. Councilmember McBride.
Present.
Councilmember Warner.
Here.
Councilmember Teshka.
Here.
Councilmember Niskoski.
Present.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan.
Present.
Councilmember Hammond.
Present.
President White.
Present.
Councilmember Davis. I will mark him when he comes in. At this time, we have 8 present.
Thank you, City Clerk Jones. We'll now entertain to receive the report from the Subcommittee on Minutes. This will be reflected of the August 24th and the September 14th minutes.
Okay, report of Subcommittee on Minutes. to the Common Council of the City of South Bend. The subcommittee has inspected the minutes of the August 24th, 2020 and September 14th, 2020 meeting of the council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved.
Thank you. I would like to entertain a motion to accept the report from the subcommittee on minutes for the August 24th and September 14th meetings.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Jones, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Lee,
Present.
Councilmember Davis, Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember Teschka,
Aye.
Councilmember Nisgowsky,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
and I see Councilmember Davis is in. Councilmember Davis, we're approving the minutes.
Oh, okay. The link, sometimes the link was broken on the original email that I had. I had to go another route.
Okay. President
I don't know how
White,
that happened, but
President White.
Aye.
Okay, I got you, Councilmember Davis.
The
Okay, we
minutes,
have 9 ayes.
the minutes have been accepted. There is no special business at this time, and we do not have any reports from the city offices. I would like to entertain a motion to resolve into the committee of the whole.
So moved.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Jones, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Davis,
aye.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember Teschka,
Aye.
Councilmember Nisgowsky,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
President White.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Okay, so the committee of the whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council's meeting where bills are given a second reading and public hearing. I wish to share with you that bills will be given a second reading and public hearing, have been given a first reading and set for committee meeting and public hearing prior to this evening's meeting. In addition, you will hear from the chairperson of the committee where the bill was discussed and the results of their discussion. If the proposed ordinance is a zoning ordinance, a report from a staff member will be given. In all other situations, the formal presentation on the proposed ordinance will immediately follow the committee report. The formal presentation shall be untimed. Okay, Clerk Jones, Bill 1220. I believe we have a substitute bill on that. Do we need to hear that first, President White?
First, you need to have her read the, Clerk Jones read the bill, then you need to entertain a motion to accept the third substitute version.
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
Clerk Jones, could you read Bill 1220, please?
Yes. 1220, public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, adding Article 1, Division 2, Sections 2-12.2.1, 2, and including 2-12.2.11 of Chapter 2 of the South Bend Municipal Code to create a community police review board and procedures governing the board.
Okay, is there a committee report?
Yes, there is. This is Councilwoman Hammond. We did approve the third substitute and brought the bill forward with a unanimous positive recommendation, favorable recommendation.
All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Nisgowsky, you need to have a motion to accept the third substitute bill.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the third substitute bill?
So moved.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
Councilmember Warner,
Aye.
Councilmember Teschka,
Aye.
Councilmember Nisgowsky,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
President White.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Okay, thank you. Now, is the petitioner present? I ask that you state your name and address and share with us the key points regarding the bill before us.
Well, you have three petitioners, there's three co-signers. My name is Councilman Henry Davis Jr. I represent the 2nd District of the City of South Bend. My address is 5117 Idlewood Drive, South Bend, Indiana.
My name is Karen White. I'm a co-sponsor. I live at 1912 Malvern Way, South Bend, Indiana, 46614.
Lori Hammond, also a co-sponsor, 2658 Tomahawk Trail, South Bend, 46628. Councilman Davis, do you want to start with your intro?
Well, absolutely. I just wanted to not only thank all of the people that we met with over the last several months, but even when we began back in 2014, I wanted to say thank you and impress upon you the need for not only reform, but structural change within the city of South Bend. The community is asking for it. They want it. And I certainly believe that we do need it. It's been a long, hard road. We've learned a lot during the course of the last several months. We've heard a lot. We've done as much as we possibly could to include the people and the citizens of this city, residents included. And we're looking forward to a brighter day in South Bend. So Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we will see the changes that need to be implemented. And I'm looking forward to working with Clerk Don Jones and her staff and the rest of the South Bend community to make sure that this is something that's not only viable, but it's something that produces the hope that we need in this community. And again, I thank the council members and for their support, and not only their support, for their confidence throughout this entire process. It's been an arduous process. Never that I think that we would ever get done, because it just seemed like there was always something. But it looks like that we got some wheels and some momentum to move forward, and I look forward to your favorable support when it's time to vote. Thank you.
Clerk Jones, could you put up the PowerPoint, please? And we'll go through that very quickly.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So we're going to talk about some of the changes that have been made that brought us to this third substitute bill that will be voted on this evening. Next slide, please. So the first slide outlines for us the makeup of the review board. All members shall be residents of South Bend, selected by from nominees that are submitted from each of the members of the Common Council. Members can also include individuals or representative members from community organizations, and there shall be at least one member appointed from each city councilmanic district. Next slide, please. The duties of the review board are listed here. They are also listed in the document, such things as reviewing the allegations of complaints, investigating the allegations of the complaints, collecting, tracking, and reporting civilian complaints, suggest revisions to existing or the addition of new policies when necessary. The most important thing to remember for our public that is on the call this evening is that the power that resides in the review board is to produce recommendations that they will then send to the Board of Public Safety and the Chief of Police. Next slide, please. So this is the flow chart, which is pretty difficult to read on the computers, and I apologize. This talks about the basic complaint process. So initially, when the complaint is received, that will be transferred to Internal Affairs for investigation. When the results of that investigation are brought back to the review office, they can either accept those particular findings from the Internal Affairs. If they do not accept those findings, they're going to order the director to do one of three things. Either order an investigation, order an informal hearing, or mediation. The findings and dispositions of the review board shall be communicated to the Common Council, the mayor, the Board of Public Safety, and the complainant within 10 days of the completion of the disposition. Next slide, please. Selection and duties of the director of the Community Police Review Board. There are a couple new sections in here that are part of that third substitute bill. The city clerk, pursuant to Indiana Code 36-4-11-4, with the consultation of the Common Council, shall appoint a full-time director of the review office. The director shall be supervised and be subject to review and evaluation by the city clerk or the clerk's designee in collaboration with the review board and the Common Council. The duties of the director shall include managing the review office, enhancing communication and goodwill between the police and the community, and maintaining records and confidentiality. The director is authorized to adopt such rules and procedures, and that would explain why the particular procedures or processes are not specifically outlined in the third substitute bill, because the director will be instituting a number of those. Subject to appropriations, the director shall have the authority to contract with investigators, consultants, and legal counsel if approved by the city corporation legal counsel pursuant to Indiana Code 36-4-9-12 to aid in any investigations. The director shall be in regular communication with the chief and shall make quarterly reports to the Common Council and the mayor concerning matters of conduct and reoccurring issues that are processed by the review board. Next slide, please. There is a correction that needs to be made here in that first point. The quarterly report from the director will not go to the Community Relations Committee, but to the entire South Bend Common Council. As requested by the mayor, there will be an annual audit, which will be completed and presented to the full council and the mayor. The clerk's office will house all public records and issue required meeting notices. Next slide, please. Attorney Bob Palmer, do you want to explain subpoena power and investigative authority quickly, please?
Sure. In order to give this board any kind of teeth, it's necessary that it have subpoena power.
We can't hear Attorney Palmer. I can't.
Can you get closer to the microphone, Mr. Palmer, please?
Yes, is that better?
A little bit.
Okay, I'll try to speak up a little bit more. In order to have any teeth, this review board must have subpoena power. Subpoena power exists in the Common Council itself under state statute. So any subpoena that will be issued through the Common Council at the request of the review board and at a public meeting. The details of how that subpoena power will actually be exercised and how the documents will be produced is one of those details that will be worked out in the implementation of this. As far as the investigative authority, if the review board needs additional personnel such as attorneys or investigators, that will be going through the office of the city legal department, and they will have the authority to approve that.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Next slide, please. The intention is to partner with innovation and technology in the creation of a website for the Community Police Review Board, which will include an information and transparency hub. Next slide, please. And the next steps would be to post the application for board members on the council website. We need to work with the city clerk in the selection process for the director of the review board and begin our search to find a location for the review board office and board meeting rooms. Next slide, please. This is taken directly from the South Bend Tribune editorial. I'm just going to read this first part here. It says, for years, advocates have argued that it's critical to have a broader group of people reviewing police actions, a group that isn't appointed by one person like the Board of Public Safety, to help increase trust between police and the community it serves. As we've noted in previous editorial comments, establishing a review board would be an important step in answering questions and concerns residents have about a system from which they often feel alienated. Next slide, please. And this is with most sincere thank you to the community, to the work of all of the council members and these particular groups that we have met with. The sponsors of the bill would like to thank everyone and to point out that Faith in Indiana and the NAACP have issued letters of endorsement for Bill 1220. Thank you. Councilwoman White, did you want to add anything?
No, not this time. I'll wait until we start the comments. Mike.
Councilwoman Nitskotsky runs the questions on this, correct?
Yeah, I think she was muted.
Okay,
Oh,
thanks.
yes, I'm sorry, I was. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you were finished with your presentation.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Hammond. Councilwoman White, you said you had nothing at this time?
Not this time, but I will circle back.
All right, thank you. Okay, so council members, do you have any questions of the petitioner? Councilwoman Sharon McBride?
Thank you so much. I would state, again, for the record, as I did in committee, that I appreciate the hard work that the sponsors have put in with this bill. And my question would be, and my request is that there would be more community input and engagement with a broader group like it was at the beginning of the meeting. There are some people who have contacted via email or calls. Specifically, that was a part of the process, and they had not gotten any updates or information. So I think that we need more transparency and inclusiveness with the neighbors before we move forward, or making sure that that's a part of the substitute. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Jones, can you let me know the order that the council members raised their hands, because I can't
Yes.
see that.
Okay, the next one is Councilmember Testa, and then after him, Councilmember Lee.
Thank you. Councilman Teshka?
Yes. So we, during the break, received an email from the Chief of Police, Chief Ruskowski. I was wondering if the sponsors had a response to that.
I can respond to that, Jake, as soon as right now. I'm not sure what Chief Ruskowski is even referring to. As you see, the list of people that we spoke with, those were groups, which included many other members. We spoke with Chief Ruskowski on multiple occasions, once with the FOP, I remember, and definitely with the mayor's office on another call. So I have absolutely no idea why he would feel like that this was not inclusive. This wasn't a process that included his word. As a matter of fact, some of the suggestions that he made are incorporated in the bill that's before you. So I'm without any response or answer to say that we could have done better, because we included him mostly more than we did other people throughout the process, because he is the chief of police. So, sir, I don't know. You will have to ask him why he feels that way.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. My next question, I guess, one of the things I thought about over the break, because as expressed in committee, one of my, so I have a couple of just kind of lingering concerns, one of them being the subpoena power. And I think that we had agreed, and Attorney Palmer said, that would be continued to work on. Again, I'm not certain that won't face some legal challenge. But I think a question that I have for the sponsors is regarding another concern that I raised, and that's the full-time position. It's going to be put under at least one full-time position. It's going to be put under the clerk's office. And so I guess what I was thinking over the break was, if it would be possible, or if this had been thought of, that since we don't know the workload yet, I believe that the statistic that was used recently was 60 complaints in the last 4 years, which doesn't seem to justify a full-time position. Now that could go up, obviously. Again, there's just so much uncertainty in terms of the workload. And so I didn't know if it had been thought of to house this under a current position within the clerk's office, and then add to that as needed, full-time or more.
Councilmember Tuska, that has not been discussed in regards to looking at their actual staffing. It has been recommended that we would look at a full-time staff person, especially starting that is a discussion that I hopefully will occur with the city clerk, as well as with others as well. As we look at this position in terms of from a budgetary perspective, this Citizen Review Board does not go into effect until 2021. We've been hearing from even this meeting, from even Dale Heller and others, that need to have additional discussions as we begin to look at moving forward this particular third proposal. I'm very confident as the third proposal is advanced that a lot of these concerns will be addressed in regards to making sure that engagement is much broader as we begin to look at not only the substitute, but also looking at how it will be implemented under the city clerk's office in conjunction with the council as well. The first position that I think will be important that would begin to frame the conversations would be the director, and then the identification of the actual members of the Citizen Review Board.
Thank you, President White. I know you mentioned that there's some things to be worked out yet, and I just wanted to reiterate concern that I had in committee about the stripping away of the requirement for training. And I know Councilmember Davis gave his word that these would be fully trained folks, and I take Councilman Davis at his word. He's always stood behind it. But I know that sometimes these things, sometimes get legs of their own and take off, and so I am still a bit concerned that that the only training required per statute would be a ride along, and so again, just wanted to raise that concern.
Okay. Are you finished, Councilman Tashka?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Niskoski.
Thank you. Councilmember Kenneth Lee, you had a question?
Yeah, I just had a statement again to all of the sponsors of this bill. This is a very important issue for the community. I've received emails and phone calls about it, and we want to make sure that we do it right. All across this country, people are looking for their elected officials to think in their best interest and to create things that continue to help push justice for everybody. So I'm very much encouraged that we're taking a step to make South Bend a better place for everyone, and that our citizens actually have the opportunity to weigh in on these critical issues that affect not only just us, but the nation and the world. So thank you for the extra efforts that everyone has had to put in order to get this accomplished. And I'm hoping that in the future, as we work things out, that we will continue to make this to be the best bill and the best organization that it can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Lee. Clerk Jones, who was next after Councilman Lee?
Okay, we have Councilmember Warner and then Councilmember Tomas Morgan.
Thank you.
I believe Councilmember Tomas Morgan had her hand up before I put mine up.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Tomas Morgan, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Warner. First of all, Chair Niskoski, I wanted to ask, this is a time for questions, but will we circle back around for comments?
Yes, you get 2 questions. We go to the public, and then you'll come back and have another statement that if you would wish to make.
Before our vote. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
So a question that I have, and just for by way of explanation for the public, in the second substitute bill, there was mention of the position in the mayor's office, and so the significant change has been a move from the director's position from the mayor's to the clerk's office. And so my question is, was that move to better address independence of the board and its director?
I would, Councilwoman Niskoski, I would ask our attorney to address that. According to state statute, there's only 2 bodies that can actually hire any type of administrative position. And that was a discussion that occurred. The mayor had input as well. But I'm going to ask our attorney to weigh into that.
Thank you, President White. Under Indiana statute, the city
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing our attorney, Palmer.
His mic is buffering, it's muffled.
I can't do anything about it. I'll just do my best to
That's
speak up.
better.
Mhm.
Under Indiana statute, the Common Council cannot hire these types of personnel. They can only hire what is provided for by statute. Consequently, it was only the mayor's office and the administration or the clerk's office that could hire the director. In discussions with the mayor's office and in the attempt to make this as independent as possible, it was suggested and the sponsors agreed that it should be done through the clerk's office instead of the mayor's office.
Thank you, Attorney Palmer. I raised that question so that it can be answered publicly and that that's understood to the public. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, Councilwoman Tomas Morgan? You get two. No.
No, that's fine. We can go on.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Councilman Troy Warner, you had a question or a statement?
I have a question now, and then once we hear from the public, I probably have some comments then. I think my question now is to, and this question goes to all three of our co-sponsors. We've heard, we've got this second substitute at 1 o'clock, and then now we've amended that. There's been some asks and requests from the public to table this final vote for 2 weeks. For each of our bill sponsors, would they support tabling this for 2 weeks to give the public more time to review what we've done? And then kind of an explanation why or why not, if we could get that from each of the three sponsors. I think some more transparency time here would do some good as we move this forward.
Councilman Warner, this is Henry. Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm not clear on what needs to be, I guess, more transparent or offered as far as response time or responses. What is the public asking for?
I know we heard from Dr. Heller, and I got a few emails last night and this morning that, they haven't reviewed the bill completely. The changes from March to just 2 weeks ago, and asked for just a couple more weeks.
Sure, Councilmember Warner, I got that, and I think that that's admirable that people are interested in this process. But if you were talking about from March all the way to September, that's 6 months in between. And for whatever reason, people are still asking for more time. If we don't move forward, sir, we will probably never move forward on this particular bill. I think that once they view the bill, they can always contact their council representative or anyone on council and send in their requests or opinions. And if we can incorporate that as we move forward, we certainly will. I don't think anyone will be opposed to that. But we can't continue to stall out for a number of months or even weeks at this point. My time with this bill has been since 2014. So that's 6 years. And most recently here, 6 months. So I think that we've given more than enough time. I've never seen a bill take this long to get passed. So I think, again, like I said, I think that the door is always open. It's never closed. And everyone has an opportunity to speak with their council member or anyone on council about changes that need to be made while we're implementing the process or implementing the board, excuse me.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Warner, as I begin to look at, where we've brought the bill up until this point and even having the conversations with the mayor, I understand and I'm very sensitive to the call for individuals to really have ample time to begin to look at the substitute, which I would have to say that most individuals only receive that today. So I understand the concerns. I'm all for transparency and engagement as we move forward, and based on the will of the council, including the sponsors. I'm more open to continue those discussions. I think it's important that we look at this bill and we look at the different parts. The third substitute, excluding the amendments, most of that language as far as changing came from the mayor, and the mayor has made tremendous recommendations. And so as we begin to be open, are you asking, am I open to hear other viewpoints and to discuss the bill as it has been stated further? I am open to that.
Thank you.
I did mention in committee that the recommendation from the president of the review board in Indianapolis strongly urged the board, once the members are selected, to hold what you might refer to as town halls, so that they can have multiple conversations with community members to help them understand the process, help them to become comfortable with the process, to ask whatever questions they would like to ask. My concern is if we continue to delay, I don't know where that ends. Will this be a perfect bill when voted on today? Probably not, but it can be amended. And for budgetary reasons and a multitude of other reasons, I think it's important that we move forward today.
Thank you.
And Councilmember Warner, this is Councilwoman White again. I would go back to the letter that the mayor has entered for the record in regards to that. Our goal is to have the most best bill that we possibly can as we move forward. We know that it's going to be a lot of changes as we move forward, and the mayor has agreed to work very closely with the council. I think that as we begin to move forward, we have to outline what that looks like and the engagement, but I don't think anyone is against of having that full engagement and discussion.
Okay, thank you. Does that cover your question, Councilman Warner?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Jones, was it Kenneth Lee had his hand up again? I believe he just made a statement. He gets 2 questions. Was there anybody else from the council?
No, that was it.
Okay. Councilman Lee, you had a question?
Again, I just want to echo what President White said. It's important that we get this right. We got to, make sure that all of the due diligence has been done, and talking to the right people. So I just wanted, because I didn't ask a question, just wanted to make sure that we've talked to people from the process begins at internal affairs, and we talked to those individuals, and as Jake Teska said about having a conversation with the police chief, and just making sure that not only are law enforcement involved in this, but also that the community stakeholders and people throughout this community that's affected by this actually have a very strong voice. So I wanted to get the word of the sponsors to make sure that the community will have a strong voice, and we will hear the perspectives from various groups that will be affected by this.
Do we respond to that, or Chair?
If you would like to respond, certainly.
Well, sure. I want to again impress upon the members of the council and the people that have been watching the presentation. Lori did an awesome job of listing all the groups that we've talked to throughout this process. I just went back through it. I don't think that I saw the Board of Public Safety either. And many of the people that are internal affairs were with the South Bend Police Department. So when I said there was other members listed, let's say South Bend Police Department, that meant that there were other members up under that title as well. We have talked to literally everybody. I think that we scheduled meetings with the LGBTQ community. We've ran out of people to talk to. We've literally ran out of people to talk to. And I'm not saying that there's not any more to talk to, but we started off in 2 parks where we offered the entire community an opportunity to come out to the park to speak with us about the Citizens Review Board. And then from that point on, we created a list that were full of stakeholders and people who what has something to do with this directly and sometimes indirectly. A lot of the people that were directly impacted were the law enforcement community. I think we met with the FOP twice. So yes, we've been very inclusive. That's why it took like 6 months to get here. We weren't just trying to figure it out and when it was the right time to bring the bill before the council. We were actually talking with people and talking with groups, sometimes twice a week over Zoom. Very exhaustive process, very exhaustive. And so here we are right now. We don't mind moving forward with talking with other people. But what I'm going to say to you during the implementation process, once the director is hired, that will be the director's job to take on the momentum that we've set to go ahead and speak with more individuals to come up with a better response about the actual review board and how it's going to behave and function in this city. We've carried it up to this point, and I think we've done an outstanding job, to be honest with you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Davis. If that is all the questions from the council members, I did have a question as I had issues with my computer during the committee meetings. One being that this board, I just had a question if they are going to be subject to open door policy law. And how does that look if this appears to be somewhat of an investigative board?
Councilman Niskoski, I'm going to ask Attorney Palmer to respond to that question.
Thank you.
There may be some meetings that are subject to the open door law. However, since this is not a governing body that makes any kind of official decision, it's advisory only, not all meetings will be subject to the open door law. And obviously anything that is confidential by state or federal statute or constitutional law would not be subject to the open door law.
Thank you. My second question is, when they talk about the subpoena process and police officers, that also means residents as well?
That's correct. And subpoena power does not just refer to calling people in for testimony, although it does include that. Subpoena power is also a vehicle to obtain documents.
All right, thank you. Okay. So at this time, we are going to go to the public hearing portion. During the public hearing portion, when you going to ask for anyone in the public wishing to speak in favor of Bill 1220 to please state your name and address for the record, and you will have 5 minutes and it will be timed. So is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of Bill 1220?
First, we have Rick Tribble. Is it 5 minutes or 3 minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe it is 3 minutes.
Okay. We have.
Well,
no, it is
it's fine. It's fine.
5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. We
Thank
have Rick Tribble. Mr. Tribble, if you would unmute yourself and state your name and your address.
Actually, I'm raised my hand because the chat is not available, and okay. I'm interested in speaking on another bill later on.
Okay. Okay. Next.
I'm finished.
Okay. Next we have Hari Ramurthy.
Hi. How are you doing?
Fine. Please state your name and address for the record,
Sure.
please.
My name is Hari Ramurthy, and I live in 18065 Bella Road, right outside Notre Dame. I am a Notre Dame PhD student, and I am strongly in favor of the amendments that we have outlined. They're very common sense. We're just asking that the statute of limitations be raised from 60 days to 1 year. It's very common sense. It's very hard for people who have been affected by that have been abused to come forward, and that's just a no-brainer. And the amount of time that police officers and affiliated people, FOP, whatever, have to get the paperwork together should be lowered from 60 days to 30 days. That is also a very common sense thing to do to reduce the red tape. This should be an independent review board. So police officers and affiliated people should not be allowed to attend unless they have been invited. And the same standards that we should apply to everybody. Like if a police officer is allowed to come with support from the union, then a complainant should be able to come with their own advocates. So like this board will be there to intercept to be advocates for people because who aren't accustomed to being advocates for themselves. And in the spirit of being independent, I want to suggest that Troy Warner should not be allowed to vote in this ordinance because he was a lawyer for the South Bend Police Department. That is a big conflict of interest. And I want to thank Congressman Davis for his eloquence and for his persistence in pushing forward for nothing less than mediocrity, nothing less than excellence. So another thing I want to add is that you guys have really not made it easy for people to attend this meeting. You changed the meeting link, and this meeting link is not on the South Bend website. I checked the website; it's not there. I really had to hunt hard, and I only got the meeting link because I went to the old meeting and there was a thing in the chat that had the thing for this meeting, and I got the old meeting link because it was forwarded by Black Lives Matter. So I wanted to propose lengthening the time for comments and sending out a meeting link because there are a lot of people. I can't find the meeting link. There are a lot of people that want to attend that aren't able to. That want to voice their support, and you guys have really not made it easy. You've really not made it easy for people to attend. Just if the chat's not there, so you can't send us a meeting link, something has to be done about this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Morgan. Morgan, please unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Morgan Whithelm. I live at 3409 Oak Crest Drive here in South Bend with zip code 46615. I'll be pretty brief. I just wanted to come in support of the suggestions made by Black Lives Matter South Bend chapter and the Michiana Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Hari had already said some of them, but especially the statute of limitations extended from 60 days to a year. Police departments and affiliated has 30 days instead of 60 days to file their reports, as well as everything else in the proposed changes by the two organizations I just mentioned. So I won't go through each of those points because I'm sure that is available, but that's the majority of my comments. And thank you so much for the work on this, and I definitely echo support for having time for people to give feedback while also not letting this fall off the wayside after dedicated work by those who put this forward. So just thank you for those who are doing the effort on this, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Jerry and Jordan. Please unmute yourself, state your name and your address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Jerry Casey. I live at 421 Manitou Place, 46616. And I'm one of the organizers of the Michiana Alliance Against Racist and Political repression. And I have to take my hat off to the committee members of the Community Relations Committee, because you people have had these hearings in the parks, and you've met with us. And what's been powerful, we have had in our meetings, their virtual meetings, 96 people, 82 people. And who are these people? They're young people who are just becoming interested, not only in justice, right, but also in following the political logic and the political process. It's very important that people who want to make justice and change are not saying, forget the electoral process. It's all a bureaucracy. They're curious. And it's because the committee has taken an enormous amount of time and energy talking through line by line what's going on. And those of us who participated in the process to date have noticed that the questions we raised and the criticisms we raised have been incorporated. What does that show the people of our community? That they have a voice. And the fact that it is sponsored by the Common Council, this didn't come from some, consent decree by a lawsuit, and it's not the executive branch organizing it. It's our elected representatives. This is the flow we need. I love the fact that it's going to be within the Common Council. You are a representative body. More directly, people vote for the mayor, but that's citywide. We have our districts and at large. It's very important. And I think as someone who's been involved in this work for many years, I was a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City for 18 years before coming to IU South Bend. I worked with the New York City Board, the Civilian Review Board, and I worked with students and adults in the community who had to process their complaints. And I have to say, it's been very open, and the conversation has been very dialogical, given the fact that this is a bill that's in contention, and our colleagues and our officers in the police department are a little bit anxious about the communities starting to have more say. But for the community, it is extremely important to know that we, and particularly people who have experienced some police misconduct, that we have a seat at the table. This is one of the most important things that could happen. I think that the work that's been done here in South Bend, based on my knowledge of a lot of other efforts, because as a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, we reviewed all kinds of different cities' efforts to create these civilian review boards. I think it's got health to it. It has to be changed. I think there's people are talking and moving in good faith to create those necessary changes. And it is going to be a dialogue, and it's going to be in contention because some sectors of the community may feel that their traditional rights are being a little bit infringed upon. But other members of our community feel that finally they get a seat at the table. I can't speak enough about this. I want to let you know that of those 96 people and 82 people at our meetings, it includes people from the Pokagon group, the Pokagon people, the Pokagon band, and Latinos, as well as African Americans and white people. And this is really important to have a community come together on a piece of legislation that has a vital importance for our community, but to work together across divisions. Whether, I think it's appropriate to also say, given that everybody's speaking in good faith about making more changes as we move ahead, I think it behooves us if the Common Council could take a stand tonight and make the vote tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ms. Pam Clays. Ms. Clays, please unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Do I get to go?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Pam Clays. I live at 1106 Bellevue Avenue, South Bend, Indiana, 46615. I am speaking as one of those community people who has been to many of the meetings over the last year. And I was disappointed to know that my last contact was the meeting in the park. So of all the people, the groups that you have talked to, people like me might not be part of that group. I was part of the city's email for all the city policing kinds of things. I feel I should have been notified by this. So I ask for more general community input too. There are some of us that are really following this. And the idea of town halls, set that email listserv up. In fact, this director is going to have a bigger job than you even realize in terms of getting all these processes and procedures. Uh, you know, it's amazing. But keeping the community informed and town halls publicizing it. Your website, I have to agree with whatever commenter mentioned that the website is difficult to find. If I hadn't, if I was looking for the link on this meeting, I would not have been able to find it. Thank God I got it in an email from a friend. I would like to see that third substitute bill. I would like to see that posted on the council's website. And while you're at it, correct Lori Hammond's email because you got 2 emails for her and one doesn't work. So I'm sorry about these complaints. I feel like I still want to make input as this goes forward.
I can't use it.
And as the process gets going, please keep me on the email list. And I appreciate everything that you are doing. I appreciate the diligence of the council members and community members. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Eric Giovanelli. Mr. Giovanelli, please state your name and your address and unmute yourself.
My name is Eric Giovanelli. I live at 1225 Bissell Street, South Bend 46617. And I would like to voice my support for the amendments proposed by the Black Lives Matter South Bend chapter and Michiana Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. As has been mentioned before, I think the amendments make sense. And I'd like to highlight in particular that it's important to emphasize the independence of this Community Police Review Board because it would be devastating to pass a piece of legislation with the right intent, but the wrong effect that misses the point of instilling confidence and trust in the community that the police department will be held accountable towards to a reasonable level of conduct. And so the amendments that they outline to that effect, I think, are very important. In particular, I would add that it's important, perhaps, that I see it mentioned that all current police officers are barred from serving on the board. I would like to suggest extending that to all persons involved with law enforcement, and also perhaps people who were previously involved with law enforcement, because for other reasons as well. So just to highlight a few of the amendments that the Black Lives Matter chapter of South Bend puts out, changing the title to the Independent Civilian or Community Police Review Board would help highlight that it's independent from the police department and law enforcement. As well, using the word civilian rather than citizen or resident would be useful to create both a formal definition of who this review board serves, because it should serve civilians, not people in law enforcement. And citizen would exclude people who cannot readily provide documentation of their citizenship. Thank you. That is all I want to say.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Jordan Geiger. Jordan, please unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, Jordan Geiger, 302 South Auburn Street, South Bend, Indiana. I just want to express my most profound appreciation to all of the committee members who have really done their due diligence in meeting with stakeholders, groups, individuals all across the city of South Bend. We've probably met with between BLM and the Alliance, with the committee, or committee members, bill sponsors, probably at least 5 times. And that excludes the meetings, the committee meetings that we've attended where we've spoken on the record, and then have had committee members then come out of that committee meeting to join our organizational meetings about the bill. So, I really appreciate, you all and your work behind it. Each one of you during the primary season committed, or along the campaign trail, committed to supporting and voting in favor of a review board of some kind, and you did just that. So I just want to commend you on that, and just echo what Jerry was saying about the role of elected officials in listening to the needs and concerns of their constituents, and then going and carrying that work out. Also, I want to uplift the comments that have been made by people who belong to the Alliance and who support Black Lives Matter, who are on this call right now and have attended all these meetings. All of the amendments, I know people are saying like they're almost kind of like distancing themselves from them, like this was a Black Lives Matter thing or this was an Alliance thing, but it was really all a consolidation of all of the comments that have been made by community members since March. And so we got a lot of what we wanted, but there's still work to do, and we understand that. And I think folks on this call are very much committed to coming out of this in light of what we suspect will be a favorable vote to pass this, and that we will continue to work with the Community Relations Committee to make further amendments to this bill so that we get the strongest bill as possible. And kind of speak just... Sorry, I've been in many meetings with Pam, and I know she does her homework and she makes sure to, let folks know where she stands. I know that community action group process is led by the mayor, but the council might look towards implementing that motto as well, if there is to be continued work around amending this bill. So, open it up even more, I guess, have these community action group like meetings around this bill, if there is still interest among committee members in, meeting with the community to discuss what amendments can or should be made to the bill. So thank you all for your time, and I hope that you all pass this favorably.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ava Tomasello.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ava Tomasula Garcia. My address is 326 West Navarre Street in South Bend. So I'll be brief. I just very strongly support the Community Police Review Board, and I support that vote take place today. So thank you so much to the bill sponsors for your outlining just now of all the work that has gone into this bill already. And I also commend the Community Relations Committee for their work with community members, especially over the last 6 months to make this a reality. So knowing that even if passed now, the bill wouldn't be started to be implemented until 2021, and that there will be plenty of opportunity to make this board the best that it can be after the fact of its passage. I urge the council to take this vote tonight. I know there are so many community members who are eager to continue talking and who will absolutely continue engaging in all these democratic processes to continue to rework and really work out what this review board is going to look like after the bill is passed. From town halls that were mentioned to any number of other processes. So yes, absolutely, this is not the end. I know engagement will continue, and we can only strengthen our city by passing this bill now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Greg Campion. Mr. Campion, please unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record, please.
Hello. Sorry, had trouble finding my mute button. My name is Gregory Campion. I live at 925 North Francis Street in South Bend, and I just wanted to express my support for the proposed amendments, and especially for the lengthening the amount of time that that someone has to make a complaint. I think it's really important to be trauma conscious in this process and in this body. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Anjanette Dantzler. Ms. Dantzler, please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Hello, yes, Anjanette Dantzler, 330 West Colfax, 46601. I want to speak in support of going for the vote for this this resolution. I want to wholeheartedly speak toward moving forward on this. The amendments that need to be changed, the minor changes can happen whenever the bill is put into place. I think that we as a community cannot wait, as Councilman Davis said, since 2014 to see another life be taken away, to see another bruise, to see another complaint come in without having a way for the community to speak up for this. There have been, I attended the very first, or I'm not sure if it was the first, but one of the meetings at the park. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the other meetings, but my organization, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, was part of the conversation. And we always got information back from our representatives of what was going on in these vast meetings since, from my knowledge, since March. We cannot wait on small changes to let another life and another complaint go through, knowing that if next week or next month or tomorrow we get a complaint about a police officer, knowing that this bill could have been passed and we were waiting on minor changes. So I am wholeheartedly pushing forward for a vote from the council tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that exhausts our list of speakers.
Is that anyone wishing to speak in opposition of this bill?
There are no more people signed up to speak in opposition or support.
I just want to add that I think there are a lot of people that want to speak about this, but there are about 30 people in another meeting that want to attend this meeting and speak in opposition, speak in support of the amendments, but cannot because you made it really hard for people to attend. So take that into account while you're voting. There are a lot of people that want to attend this meeting but cannot.
Could you please state your name and address for the record, sir?
Sure. My name is Hariram Murthy, HARIRAMURTHY.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I live at 18065 Butler Road, South Bend, Indiana 46637.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Niskoski, we do have another speaker that just raised their hand, was David Heron. Mr. Heron, please unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record, please.
Mr. Heron, would you state your name and address for the record, please, if you wish to speak?
You may need to unmute yourself. Mr. Heron, can you please unmute yourself? His hand is still up, but he's muted.
I don't know.
I cannot unmute him. He has
Okay.
to himself.
Was there anybody else in waiting to speak?
No, that was it.
Okay. Okay. At this point, the public hearing on Bill 1220 is now closed. Council members, would you like to make any statements regarding Bill 1220? Councilwoman Niskoski, this is Councilwoman White. I would like to make some statements. I would like to thank not only the sponsors, but also the individual council members who have been working with us on this bill. I would like to say that I would like for the record to include the letter from the mayor, as well as comments from the chief of police, Chief Niskoski, to be part of the record. Is this bill perfect? No, it's a work in progress. And what I personally would make a commitment is that, we will continue to work and engage various stakeholders and community leaders, and that I would like for the third substitute to be placed on our website, and that individuals can send comments, suggestions, and that we'll be open to that. We'll continue to reach out and engage the community, seek feedback, and to work very closely, not only with our community leaders, but also to work with administration, as well as work with the council. Together, we will move forward, and I think it's important for all of the residents to know that it's a collaborative effort. We want to have the very best bill that is impactful and successful in the implementation. And once the director has been selected, then a lot of the strategic directions for the Citizen Review Board in terms of the implementation will be forthcoming. But again, I'm open, and I know the sponsors are too, to receive feedback, to make sure that, we are engaging each and every one of you on a continuous basis. Change is not easy, but I have continued to work in good faith. I'm open to meeting with individuals, but again, we'll keep a promise that we'll work very closely with each and every one of you, and would want to make sure that any time that you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to any council member.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from Councilwoman Lori Hammond?
Thank you. I just wanted to extend a thank you to all of the public members that are on this call. Your level of passion around this topic and the support that you have given the bill sponsors as we worked to get this bill put together. We really appreciate every one of you. And I also would like to echo the thank you to the council members that have been so willing to give their comments and their energy toward this piece of legislation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hammond.
Councilmember Niskoski,
Yes.
Councilmember Jake Teshka wants to make a comment.
All right, thank you. Councilman Teshka?
Yeah, thank you, Clerk Jones. I don't know why all of a sudden I've lost the feature to raise my hand on here, but I did just want to say again, thank you to the sponsors and everybody who's put in a lot of legwork on this and tried to incorporate as many voices as possible. I do agree that if we wait for a perfect bill, we're going to come up wanting here, but I do believe that there are some issues again surrounding some questions surrounding the full-time position or positions as well as the training aspect that I wouldn't necessarily consider minor, and so I would be in favor of delaying the vote for 2 weeks to kind of dig into that a little bit more. And also we've heard from a few members of the public today that would like a little bit more time with the substitute version of the bill. And so I would just, again, just put that out there that I would be in favor of delaying the vote until our next meeting.
All right, thank you, Councilman Teshka. Councilman Tomas Morgan?
Yes, thank you, Chair Nitzkotsky. I'm committed to reforms of our public safety systems, and it includes passage of a review board. But let's not forget, there are also many recommendations in the 21 CP that were issued this summer that are also equally important for this council to work on with the mayor, the administration, and the police chief. So I wanted to issue that reminder. This is not a perfect bill. And as someone who likes perfection, it's a challenge. I don't want perfection, however, to get in the way of the progress that has been done. There's been good progress on compromise, and I appreciate all of us getting to this place today. That said, if this is the first time the committee has had a chance to discuss and debate this substitute bill, or the second substitute bill that we received at 1:15 today, it is the first time that the public has been provided an opportunity to give input on this substitute bill too. So I say that by acknowledging all those who have asked for more time and to sit with this bill and to give more input. I understand that frustration. There are areas of the substitute bill that still need work. There are concerns that still need to be addressed for sure. I can, in good faith, support this bill, but only with the clear understanding that this bill is still a work in progress and that the council is committed to working to make amendments moving forward to make this a better bill. And I hope that the community will continue to stay engaged and provide their input and feedback to those of us on council and any suggested amendments moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I need a point of clarification. At this point, I have gotten notice that there were some people wanting to talk in opposition to this bill and said they were not given a chance. So I'm not sure how to address this because I did open that up and was told there was no one there, but I'm told that in fact there were.
Well, actually, they had difficulty getting into the meeting.
Is that what it is?
Yes, and I don't know why.
Okay, Attorney Palmer, could you address that for me so I can have clarification on what I need to do?
Sorry, I was trying to read the emails. We are getting emails from different people who are trying to get into the meeting and can't do so. It's entirely up to the council. They can continue to discuss the bill and give an extended period of time for people to come in if they can get in. Otherwise, the options are just simply to postpone it for another 2 weeks or to go ahead and take a vote on it and continue to work with people. But to the extent that anyone is not able to get into the meeting and subsequently is able to get into it while the discussion is still going on, I recommend that they be given the opportunities to speak.
Okay, thank you. I would agree with that. I've been getting emails too. I don't know if it's difficulties from our end or what's happening, but a number of individuals have indicated that they can't even log in.
Right.
Okay, what I'm attempting to do is those that I've heard from, I'm attempting to invite them into the meeting again to see if they get that information. Other than that, I'm not sure what else to do.
Okay. So at this point, since we went back to the council and I've seen there was probably still a couple, would it be okay with the council? Would you prefer that we just continue with the council dialogue, or would it be okay if I revert back to the public comment since that was truly not all vetted?
Sheila, I would take under advisement what Attorney Palmer said. So we need to give the people that
Thank you.
are late to the party an opportunity to speak. Well, they're not even late. I shouldn't have said that. They just haven't not been able to gain access. So if Clerk Jones is able to include them, then we need to continue on with the comments from the public.
Thank you.
Now I have David Heron back, and hopefully he has his technical issues resolved. Mr. Heron, if you would unmute yourself and state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes. I don't know if he's still having difficulties or not. Okay, in the meantime, until he can speak up, we have Councilmember Lee, who also has his hand up.
Okay, are you saying, before we move on to Councilmember Lee, you're saying there's nobody else right now that's there to speak in favor or in opposition, which actually would be, because I see a hand up in the little.
Yeah, I see David Heron's hand up, but I'm not sure if he's resolved his issues with his computer. He was having issues with his laptop, is what he told me. I re-invited him, and I also invited Chief Ruskowski. So I'm not sure if he was able to get that invitation to this meeting or not, but that's what I'm attempting to do once I understand or get the information on who is not included. I've been attempting to invite them into this meeting.
Okay. Council members, do you mind if I go on to Councilman Lee had his hand up? I mean, I'm all out of sorts now that we've kind of bounced back and forth, to be honest.
Well, don't be out of sorts. You're doing a good job, Sheila.
Yeah,
You
I would
really are.
prefer to hear the rest of the public comment so that the council has their say before we vote, and that is just as important as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So if we could just give a minute or two to ensure that anybody that's trying to get in has the opportunity.
I'm fine with that, Sheila.
Thank you.
Chair Niskoski, Attorney Bob Palmer has his hand up.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Attorney Palmer, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a suggestion that we simply take a break and let everybody stretch their legs while we try to resolve these technical difficulties.
I second that motion.
that he can't make a motion. Without who? Bob Palmer can? He said he seconded it.
It was just a suggestion.
It was a suggestion.
Oh, I'll make that motion.
Okay, if we could have a point of order, please. At this point, we are just before making the motion of Bill 1220, which has been read and is going through the public process. I'm going to give them a few more seconds. If we can't get them in, I'm going to go to the rest for council input. Revert back, see if anybody else is able to make a statement. If not, then I don't know if you're able to actually stop just before you're ready to make a motion while we've already had this discussion.
Chair Niskoski?
Yes, Councilman Davis.
This is Henry Davis. I'd like to make a motion to take a 5-minute recess so that those things can be corrected. We can come back, and then hopefully Clerk Jones will have resolved the issues that are confronting her right now.
Thank you.
Can I say this, that during the break we will
There's a motion on the floor.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You need a second.
Yes, I do need a second.
I second Rachel Tomas.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor and it's been properly seconded. Can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Jones?
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Councilmember Teschka.
Aye.
Councilmember Niskoski.
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee,
Aye.
Councilmember Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember McBride,
Aye.
President White.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Thank you. The motion has passed. We will take a break. Was that a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break and recess. Thank you.
Okay. During that time, we will resend an email invite.
Thank you.
Okay.
To whom are you sending the email invite to? I just want to get the people that have been wanting to come in.
Okay, if you have the emails of the people that did not get invited or did not get to get in, please put it in the chat and we will send them an invite as well.
I have been. I can't access the chat for some reason.
Okay, well we can send it. We can send it to you and you can send it out.
Thank you. Can I dictate my email?
Yes. Give me your email.
It is HARI RAU M like Mark UR T like Tom H like Harry Y. So it's at gmail.com. So it's HARI RAU MURTHY at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk's office, I'm wondering if it would be helpful to turn on the chat. This is Councilwoman Tomas Morgan. I believe the organizer, the host of the teams needs to be able to do that. Is that possible?
Okay, we will check all of that out.
Okay.
In just 5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you.
I haven't gotten the email, Congresswoman White. Can you, if you can send it out, that'd be great.
Okay, was you referring to Clerk Jones for her to send you an email, sir?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, I got you mixed up. I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. It's Sheila Niezgodsky. Was you waiting on an email so you could get a link to invite others?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Nagowski, this
yeah.
is Rachel Coates.
Yes.
I just sent it to him. We were handling it here in the clerk's office. We had to get some other people on it as well, okay?
Thank
You should
you.
have it in your email box.
Thank you. We have about a couple seconds left here before our 5 minutes and we reconvene. Which, that's the timer. Okay, we've had our 5 minutes break. I'm going to call the meeting back. And at this time, Clerk Jones, is there anyone in the chat wishing to speak from the public in reference to Bill 1220?
Okay, they might have just gotten the email, so I will give them another minute to get in there. I don't see anyone yet, but I'm sure they're trying to get in now. We have Casey.
I still don't have the email.
Okay, we'll check that out again. We have Casey Kerr that has her hand up right now.
Okay, Casey, could you please speak or state your name and address for the record? You have 5 minutes. Casey, this is Councilwoman Sheila Niezgodsky. If you're on mute, unmute, and you have 5 minutes to speak in reference to Bill 1220.
This is trying to. Okay. What is that sound? It may be Casey trying to. Okay, says they're having issues.
Got kicked out.
Yeah, that is David Hearing that is having issues.
Okay. And we can see the screen, whoever that is.
Yeah.
You're sharing your screen with us.
Okay, I don't know whose screen that is.
Is that Rachel's screen?
So that is not my screen. I'm not sure who's
Okay.
doing that at the moment.
Councilwoman Niezgodsky, Attorney
Yes.
has his hand up.
Attorney Palmer, please.
Thank you. I've suggested to the clerk's office that we log everybody out, give them a link, and then get everybody back in. We have several bills that we have to have public hearings on,
Yes.
and we can't simply allow some people to speak and other people not to speak if it's a technical problem from the city's office. So we're going to try that and go from there. I see a message just came up that request to postpone the vote. That's one issue, but as I said, we have several of these hearings that we have to have tonight. I don't know if we're being hacked or what, but we need to log everybody out and then try to get everybody back in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm logging out.
Just for clarification, are we using the same link to get back in?
Yes.
Where's the link?
Need to know how to get in.
Yes, we're using the same link.
The same link. Okay.
So the same link that's in our calendars, Dawn, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it make sense that that might make a difference, though?
We don't know because we don't know what's going on because this is not something that normally happens.
Whose screen am I seeing here?
I have no idea whose screen you're seeing.
Somebody that plays backgammon.
So this is someone's screen, and I'm not sure why we're seeing this.
Right, exactly. So let's log out and then log
All right.
back. Okay.
Okay, I did log out and I've logged back in. It comes directly back to the screen.
Man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everybody had to log out and log back in.
Attorney Palmer, I've logged in 3 times and it brings me back to the screen right here. This is Councilwoman White. I don't know what's happening.
I think this screen we're seeing, it appears to be Jerry and Jordan in the screen that we're seeing.
Yes.
That should be, everyone, that should just be a sharing mode from the clerk's office, that the host and the organizer has control over
right.
sharing screens. Have you turned a sharing screen on? Is that the problem?
And what I'm hearing is there's some folks that, like me right now, I don't have access to the raising hand button, but others don't have access to the chat either. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
And
It looks like we have quite a few participants now, including some police officers whose name I recognize. Maybe we're getting there. I see Chief Roskowski is in.
Chairperson Niskoski, do we want to resume the Committee of the Whole? We're still on a third substitute bill 1220, and we need to go to the public to give those individual opportunity that have not spoken.
Hey, Karen.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Councilman Davis.
I was going to turn the meeting back in the hands of Chairperson, Committee of the Whole, Sheila Niskoski.
Yeah, this is really ridiculous. Like, look, I'll vote right now. Let's do it. Figure it out later.
Chairperson Niskoski.
I was going to ask, Clerk Jones, can you tell me if all the council members are logged back into the meeting?
Okay, I can do the roll call again. Okay, Councilmember Teschka,
Yeah, I'm here.
Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
Present.
Councilmember Lee,
Present.
Councilmember McBride, Councilmember McBride,
Present.
Councilmember Hammond,
Present.
Councilmember Warner,
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Hey, I can't get on.
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, Henry.
Councilmember Davis, we can hear you. Okay. Councilmember Thomas Morgan,
I can't hear them.
I'm present.
Councilmember Niskoski,
I'm present.
President White.
I did, but I still can't hear anybody.
Okay.
Present.
Okay.
So is that everyone present, Clerk Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Davis, can you hear me?
You're muted, Councilman Davis. He might not be able to hear you because I couldn't hear on my computer.
He's leaving.
I had to come. He's leaving and he's coming back in.
Okay. If it pleases the council, I would think we should wait for Councilman Davis to log back in, since I don't know a precedent that is set for this particular technical difficulty that we've had.
I agree. Did we already have the invocation?
Yes, we probably need another one.
Yeah, because we.
I'm back. I got it now.
Thank you.
I got it.
Now, Councilman Davis.
I prayed, Sharon, and see how fast it all. It all
Okay.
Thank you, Pastor.
I would like to reconvene the Committee of the Whole. Where we left off at was the public hearing portion of Bill 1220. At this time, I'm going to ask anybody wishing to speak in favor of this bill to please do so with your name and address. Clerk Jones, do you see anyone wishing to speak in favor of Bill 1220?
Okay, I am checking right now.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't see anyone wishing to speak in favor.
Thank you. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition to Bill 1220?
Okay. I'm not sure if Chief is in here. Chief Ruskoski, are you in the meeting? I can't.
It shows him as participating, but he
Okay.
obviously either can't hear us or he can't get in.
Okay, I have Paul Mishler. Mr. Mishler, Could you unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record, please?
All right, it's Paul Mishler, 421 Manitou Place in South Bend, Indiana. I want to speak in favor of passing this bill tonight. I think as Councilman Davis had pointed out, he has not seen a bill that's taken this long, that everybody knows that council bills can be tweaked, that problems get worked out in practice. It seems to me that attempting to put this on after 6 months of trying, and for Councilman Davis, 4 years of trying, is essentially putting off the existence of this institution. Martin Luther King said, essentially, justice too long delayed is justice denied. And I think that if people have been watching the news over the last 3 months about the absolute outrage across the population of the continued police killings of young Black men, even with the public scrutiny, that there needs to be, as soon as possible, a institutional response. The outrage is going to continue. There's no evidence, as I would have expected, that in the midst of the post-George Floyd uprising, that police departments would have said to their people, don't do this. Don't do this. But what have they done? They've increased killings every week. There are more killings of innocent people. There's Breonna Taylor, who's being memorialized in Louisville tonight. There are so many cases across the country. And we have the chance in South Bend of being a model for the country. In first, the discussions that went into this bill were broader than anything I've ever seen, that the input from people across the city were brought in, that up until 3 days ago, that there were edits being made, compromises being made by those of us in the National Alliance and in Black Lives Matter to make sure that we can get through with all of the stakeholders in the city represented. The efforts to put this off again are outrageous. And I think that those of us who've been concerned about this issue, and remember, this issue, you can read James Baldwin from the 50s talking about police violence. This is not a new problem. This is Watts in 67. This is Detroit in 67. Every amount of all the urban unrest in this country has been caused by unlawful police violence. Now, yes, there may be good cops, and we want to protect them because at the moment, they can't do anything. It requires an independent review board to look at these cases. Are they happening every day in South Bend? Probably not. But without this, the fear that young Black men especially, but young Black women have being out in the street, seen as criminals across the board by the police department, is outrageous. It's a violation of the Constitution. It's a violation of the basic elements of democracy. Putting off for 2 weeks is not going to help. Passing it now will send a message not only to the people of South Bend, but to the people of this country that we are a city that is moving forward to deal with this critical issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Jones, is there anyone else wishing to speak?
What?
Councilwoman Nitzgotsky?
Yes, Councilwoman.
Would I be allowed to read Chief Ruskowski's chat that he put in, so at least it gets read into the record?
Could I ask Attorney Palmer for the point of clarification, please?
Yes, it is posted on the chat, which is part of the public record, so she is very welcome to read it in.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hammond, if you would like to read that on Chief Ruskowski's behalf, please do so. Thank you.
Okay, so it reads, I had 2 meetings back in June and July via Teams. Mr. Davis was late by 45 minutes to one and then not on the second. I have not spoken to him outside of that, nor Mrs. Hammond. I submitted my points. I support a CRB, but not with all the legal and other issues it entails, as pointed out by me numerous times before. This is contrary to 21 CP recommendations maybe a resolution to get to the point of a bill rather than a bill eventually worked into a working law ? As a sponsor, may I respond?
Yes, actually, you do get to respond, being that you are a sponsor.
I would just like to mention to the chief, as with other organizations that wanted to meet with us multiple times, anytime they reached out to us and asked for a meeting, we did our very best to schedule those. So moving forward, we would be more than happy to continue to meet to discuss any of the concerns that the chief may have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hammond.
Councilmember Niskoski?
Yes.
I have, David Heron has been trying to get in and he can't because his mic is not working properly, but he did make a statement. And what he said is, I think the council should wait until the committee meets with internal affairs. No one has met with internal affairs. To vote on this bill, the council should have a clear understanding of the internal affairs process.
Thank you, Clerk Jones. Is there anyone, oh, I see Joseph Molnar wishing to speak. Please state your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have hit it by accident.
Okay, so you don't wish to speak on the subject?
No, just here for the zoning bill.
Okay, thank you.
We do have Rhonda Hughes. Ms. Hughes, if you would unmute yourself and state your name and your address for the record.
Rolanda Hughes, 1029 Riverside Drive, South Bend, Indiana. I just want to applaud the work that has gone into this bill, the revisions that have been made, consistent with the efforts of community organizations that have been working hard toward this for a long, long time. And I hope that the vote won't be delayed. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Jones, do you see anyone else wishing to speak for at this point or in opposition of Bill 1220?
I don't see anyone else wishing to speak, and also just want to let you know that people are in, we use the same site, so I don't know why they weren't getting in before, but they're in now, so I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Clerk Jones. I appreciate it. Okay, at this time, I see no one else wishing to speak in favor or opposition of Bill 1220. So at this time, I would like to give an opportunity to those council members where we left off to make a statement regarding the bill before us, 1220. Is there any other council members wishing to make a statement?
Okay.
Councilman Henry Davis.
Kenneth was before me, and he just raised his hand, so you can go ahead and get after him.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that, Councilman Lee. I can't always see who rings in first. You'd like to make a statement, sir?
I just want to say, again, this is the commitment to our community to make sure that we are doing everything possible for all voices to be heard. So thank you, Chair Nagowski, for being able to navigate through this very difficult time and keeping composure, and to all of the people who sponsored this bill. This is very much important to everyone in our community. And so we want to get it right. So thank you for allowing even those voices of opposition to be able to be heard, so that everybody plays a role in what's going to happen. And as we move forward, if we can continue to work together like we have today, then I think we'll be in the right direction for this community civilian citizens review board, or whatever we're going to call it. I think everybody is on the same page of making sure we get it right. We just want to get it right. So I yield.
Thank you. Councilman Davis, Henry Davis.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say, again, thank you to everyone that participated on this in this process, whether it was back in 2014 or even March of 2020 up to current day. We've worked really, really hard to get to the point to where we're at. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is just not a bill. We're starting a brand new institution in the city of South Bend. So that goes to another level. There will be another department. There will be another office. There will be employees. This is not a small undertaking. I'm not suggesting that we delay anymore. What I am suggesting is that everything is not going to be clear cut and laid out as if we're changing a tax abatement ordinance or some sort of like policy that we can move away from really quick. This is a brand new office. This is a new institution. We are working with many people to make sure that this is not only valid, but it's also able to be enforced. We met with the mayor earlier today. He gives his thumbs up to it with the understanding that there will be changes in the future. And we can live with that. We all are going to live with that, and we're going to work very hard to make sure that this is not something that is put on the back burner, but something in the forefront, because we are working this together. So I want to not only offer thank yous to all of the groups and citizens and residents that we met with since March, but I want to also give a very, very huge shout out to Lori Hammond, which is one co-sponsor. I want to tell her that she's awesome. This is her first time at this. And she has done, a great work. I want to give another shout out to Karen White. Her leadership and her ability to convene meetings and control the meetings so that we can get the most out of them has been stellar. Both of those ladies, if I could stand up and give them a standing ovation, I would. But we're not downtown, and I don't want to put on a scene. But I wanted to tell you that those two ladies are as awesome as a council person can get. And I want to say thank you to them for going on this journey with me. It's been fun. It's been taxing. It's been frustrating at many times, but we've gotten here. And we're not done, but we've cleared the number one hurdle, and that was getting this bill passed. And I pray that the rest of the council members salute them as well. There's a lot to learn from this. There is a town in Pennsylvania, and I can't call it right now, gave me a call about 2 weeks ago, told us that they were watching us through national outlet, I don't know which one, and they said that they're going to model their citizens review board after what South Bend is doing. So we are making strides, and we are out on the forefront and in front as it relates to citizens review boards during this time in our country. So again, thank you all. I've had fun. I would say, like Sidney Poitier said and Bill Cosby said, let's do it again. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to take a couple months off on hard legislation, and we're going to get right back at it. But again, thank you so much, South Bend Common Council.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. Is there any other council member wishing to speak before this on Bill 1220 that did not get an opportunity to do so? Okay. At this point, I would just like to say, coming from myself, that I would like to recognize Attorney Palmer. You would like to say something before I continue?
I would. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
We have apparently been hacked in this meeting. There's something obviously very suspicious about only the opposition to this bill being not able to get into this. From the council's legal position, I think we necessarily have to table this bill for 2 weeks. We could very well be in violation of the open door law if we do not have the ability to let everyone access this meeting and voice their views. Also, for the sake of transparency, we've been trying to get public input throughout this entire process. No one hates to see this bill postponed more than me, but if we do have a problem with being hacked and several people are not able to voice their opinions, we may be passing an ordinance that would eventually be declared invalid because of violation of the open door law. So that's my position. I am going to guess that this might be the only part of the meeting that has been hacked, and we may be able to go on with the rest of the meeting. But for this bill, given what's happening, I seriously do not feel comfortable with without giving opposition an opportunity to speak.
I don't have a ability to raise my hand, but I have a question for Attorney Palmer. If that's okay,
Go
Chair.
ahead.
Chair Niedzwiecki. So
Yeah.
he kind of got to the crux of it there, and saying that that he believes that we would be able to move forward with the rest of the meeting. But I guess I would ask if that is truly the case, and not that I'm questioning your legal judgment, Mr. Palmer, but as I've stated in the chat, I do know that there are some technical issues that are affecting Ben and Carrie Maudlin, at least being unable to access the chat. I myself am unable to raise my hand, etc. So, and again, I'm the one that earlier stated that I would like to see this thing tabled for 2 weeks. So I'm just saying I don't know that it's only the folks in opposition that are being targeted. I'm not sure.
I would like to second that. Like there are people that I know who are not being able to attend this meeting still, despite.
Excuse me. This is not open for public debate, sir. So I'm sorry. You are not allowed to speak at this portion. Okay, council members, and council attorney Palmer. At this point, since it's a little unprecedented, do we need to have a motion? And more importantly, are we secure in moving forward with the rest of the agenda? Is my two questions to you, sir.
Given what Councilman Teschka just disclosed about other people that we know of who are not able to access the meeting, we obviously have one more bill that might be controversial. I don't think the other ones would, but we can't guarantee that. Again, I feel very uncomfortable going forward with votes without knowing that the public has access to speak in the public hearings at this time.
Attorney Palmer, this is Henry Davis. I think the entire meeting needs to be called. That's just me. Since we've gotten to this point, I really, really, really don't like saying that, and you know why I don't like saying that. But because the integrity of the entire council meeting has been challenged up to this point, we're going to have to probably reschedule. I don't know if that means that we meet on a day opposite of Monday to reconvene this very meeting, or we just stuff everything together on the next council meeting. But that will have to go to the president.
And thank you, Councilmember Davis. This is Councilwoman White. I'm of agreement. This whole meeting has had a lot of challenges. It's not reflected of us as elected officials and a level of professionalism. I need to ask from Attorney Palmer, in light of the number of bills that we have, and what would be the process if, definitely we would need to schedule another meeting. Could we schedule another meeting prior to the 2-week time period? The reason why I'm asking that, if you look at what we have scheduled for the upcoming meeting in October, it's pretty full to capacity. So my question to Attorney Palmer, clearly, we've ran into some very serious, technical challenges. And any bill, let alone the bill that we have been discussing. Each bill, each action that we take is critical, and we want to make sure that we are following the guidelines and that we're giving not only the public, but also the presenters who are waiting to present their bills as well. So, Attorney Palmer, what would be that time frame?
We could schedule a special meeting, probably the best time would be next Monday. We'd have to jump through all the hoops,
yes,
for a notice and everything for a public meeting, but it could be done. That, given the number of items on the agendas, that's probably the best we can do. While I am on here, though, could I inquire of the clerk's office if it's possible to tonight yet establish a new link? So everybody logs out and tries to log back in on a new link.
You said you want to do that tonight?
Can it be done?
Let me check.
This is Bianca with the clerk's office. Yes, we can schedule a new link for this evening.
Bianca, just for clarification, how would you send it out to everyone if the chat function isn't working and you don't have everybody's emails who are on this call?
I would post it on Facebook, the county Facebook page, and I would send it to the media so that they can post it.
Attorney Palmer, just my reaction at this point. I agree with Councilmember Davis and others that it may be in our best interest to schedule a special meeting. Now, there are a lot of hoops that we have to go through, but we can get it done. And I would look at, we could look at a date now, so we'll know when that special meeting is going to be.
This is some crazy stuff.
This
is nuts.
So, do we need to entertain a motion in the committee of the whole, or do I need to resolve the committee of the whole and get back to full council?
I would.
Or do we make that first and then we go back to full council?
I'd like to make a motion that we resolve back to full council.
Correct.
Someone just said.
I need a second.
I second it.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Teschka.
Aye.
Councilmember Niskowski.
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Aye.
Councilmember Lee.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
President White.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Niskowski. You've done an excellent job. This is very challenging times. I just received an email that the 311 system is down as well. And so again, I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Palmer so that we can look at how best that we move forward. I would say that trying to move forward and under these conditions is not the best for this council at this time. Attorney Palmer?
I agree, President White. I also just received an email with an indication that 911 call centers have been hacked and may be shut down nationwide. At this point, my recommendation would be to adjourn this meeting, and I will simply meet with you and tomorrow morning, and we will set up the special meeting and get notice out as we're required to.
Thank you. I would like to entertain a motion that we will adjourn our council meeting at this time, and that council members will receive information regarding the special meeting so that we can continue with the agenda items that we have to act on. I would like to give a sincere apology to everyone, not only our council, but our citizens who've been trying to log in, and all of the other individuals from the administration who have waited to present their bills, and also the various developers who are waiting to do so. I apologize, and we'll get to the bottom of this, and we will be in contact with you as well.
I would like to move that the South Bend Common Council suspend the meeting today indefinitely until there is a date established for a special meeting.
I'll second that motion.
It's been seconded. Clerk Jones, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilmember Nisgowsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Tomas Morgan.
Aye.
Councilmember Hammond.
Aye.
Councilmember Lee.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McBride.
Aye.
Councilmember Warner.
Aye.
Councilmember Teschka.
Aye.
President White.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Smile.
Thank you,
Good night.
Councilwoman Nisgowsky. Thank you, President White.
Great job. Great job.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good night, everybody.
Stay safe. I don't know what's happening in this world, but we'll see.
Good night, Karen.